Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors in Winston, Chester. I'm so glad you're here this morning. It's a Tuesday morning. Got a big show lined up, a big week lined up, all kind of guests coming on later on. But today we're going solo. So just sit back, relax, enjoy that cup of coffee, and let's talk about the great outdoors here in the Florida Panhandle. High today 67, low on down to 59, and water temperature of 57. As part of our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. Now we're looking at our river readings. Take a look. We can finally say, well, we'll just take a look at them. We can say they're going down, but not too much. The Apalachicola is at 15.6. That's the lowest it's been in quite a while. That's bad when you got to say the Apalachicola River is really low at 15. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville is right at 9 foot, and just a slow, steady drop on that one. But we got scattered showers throughout the week coming in. And so it's going to still be high, but I know folks are getting ready to get on the river. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, February the 5th. And we're in a really strong tides the next couple of days, on into about Friday. The next week's pretty slack, but we've got some good tides coming up today. A marine forecast, south-southeast at about 4. I was looking at a prolonged marine forecast. The rest of this week, it looks like that wind's going to be coming out of the southeast, and that's going to keep this warm air. In fact, we're going to get into the 70s next couple of days, so just be aware of a warming trend, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So let's take our break now. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's start the segment off. We've got a lot of pictures, and let's get started on them right away with the Florida Panhandle Hunters. This is Blaine Rustin. Look what time. Big buck down at 3:45 in the afternoon. Nice buck right there, Blaine. That is, look at those horns. That's a nice one. Welcome to Bay County, folks. If this is not true, for rent $1,500. I don't know you folks on the peripheral areas up in close to Alabama and all, and I know y'all all got damage and all, but I don't know if you know the big problem we're having here, finding places for the workers and people coming in, and a lot of folks misplaced. You know, they can't live in the home, but yet they can't afford anywhere to rent and all, and the insurance money's run out. We're in dire straits as far as rental property here, and there's been a lot of unscrupulous folks that just jacked up the rent, and that's a joke off of it, where that's $1,500 a month. It's about, I've heard horror stories about people trying to find places, and people are just sticking. This greed really comes out, and it's ugly when in a natural disaster. Okay, how about this one? Thanks for convincing me to hunt this morning, this AM. Got on the stand after watching Panhandle Outdoors. A 6-point came in looking for does, 10-yard shot with a muzzleloader again. So this year I've got 2 6-points, 1 doe, and a coyote with a muzzleloader. Thank the good Lord for taking care of me. See you, Gary. There it is right there. Hey, he watched Panhandle Outdoors, and I remember I'm always encouraging y'all to just get outdoors, and so he did, and had a nice little 6-point walk out on him. Good job, Gary. Old Donnie Messer. This is a 2-part story. Part 1, Donnie got a Bay County 8-point, okay? Look at the palmettos and all. Donnie Messer, a good hunter, and I taught his dad, him, and his grandson. Had 3 generations of Messers. Well, look at here what happened that afternoon. My wife shot a really big 5-point. We doubled today, me in the morning and her in the afternoon. So, and he said, praise God. And also, isn't that great? He shot one in the morning, she shot one in the afternoon. That's a good day. The Messer family. Good job there. Jonathan Doolin, one of my former students, he did this on Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday has been good to us. So Jonathan went out with his buddy and his girlfriend, and let me zoom up on this fish right here. Look at here. Well, I can't zoom up on it. Anyway, I can too. Check this out. Flounder, redfish. Good job, Jonathan Doolin. Always smiling there. All right, this is Saturday now. Fish were biting. Josh Innerman, and he got this big grouper. Okay, and then check this out. He got a big redfish. Look where that is, at Hathaway Bridge. We always talk about that. In fact, in the background, you can see the power lines. That's no secret spot. It's been fished for years. Was for big bull reds. So to catch a tide ride and fish those crabs. Okay, let's go. let's see, I got all kinds of things. I entered this, look, please add our names to your drawing, Billy Goodson up in Sneeds and Sandra Goodson Sneeds. And look at the little bass tracker. That's a tough situation there when your bass tracker gets hit like that. Okay. Now I gotta tell a story. Brian Revere is a principal at Vernon High School, and Brian, I've talked about a lot about him because he's such a big outdoorsman. He was in like I say, the first outdoor wear class I had, and like I say, always done outdoor stuff and loves the redfish and trout fish, and so his anniversary. I'm gonna read this to you. Okay. When the alarm goes off at 3:45 a.m., this was Saturday, and you tell your wife you may just go back to bed, but she says you'll regret not going on your anniversary, you better go. He goes out there and kills the biggest buck he's ever killed. Isn't that something? Here it is, a picture of it right here. Good job, Brian. Okay, and there's another picture up there in the shop and all. So, first of all, my hats off to his wife for encouraging him to go on the anniversary, and happy anniversary to the Reveres, to Carmen. You're a good wife now to encourage your husband to go. But isn't it great to have wouldn't you, all school administrators have this outdoor thread in them like Brian does, and the kids would come to school on Monday or Tuesday morning and talk about that big buck you caught or you killed, or that big old bass you caught. So I know a lot of Vernon folks watch the show, so y'all give Mr. Revere a big high five on that big buck and all, but he's a good hunter, and that is a nice one. And he was talking about it. He is actually, he don't usually single out a buck over a couple of years, but he sort of had that one singled out on a small piece of property, and he was able to get it, okay? Here's a question from one of my YouTube viewers, Ben Jones. What type of fishing license do you need for Lake Powell and Phillips Inlet? And we talked about that on the show last week about fishing in that area. We talked about that last Friday. Just a regular saltwater license because it is saltwater and all. And you can, as far as freshwater, I'm gonna have Travis on the show tomorrow. And you know, if you catch a saltwater fish on freshwater, you gotta have a saltwater license. So that's a good question. All right, so let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We've got a hunter safety course coming up here in Bay County. It's coming up on February 23rd, and that's on a Saturday, a couple of Saturdays from now. It's going to be at the Bay County Shooting Range. It's one day. It's going to go from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock at a shooting range up here in Bay County. That's a hunter safety course. That's the only one in this area coming up in the next month or two. So we'll keep you posted on these hunter safety courses. Also want to give a shout out to Justin Leake and Matt Smith. They were on the show, on Justin's show Saturday morning. I got to see it, and they went red fishing, and they've been fishing together since they were this high, knee-high to grasshopper, and it was neat they get to do a show together, and like Chasing the Sun. And they mentioned my book Full Box on there because the story they told, they didn't give details of the story because the time was cramped and all, but. And I have to show you the picture in the book. But I told them when they were in my class when I was doing my book, I wanted to give sort of a preview as to what what our future holds as far as our young fishermen still going to be fishing later on. So they were like 18 years old, and I said no. So I told them like several months ahead, y'all give me a picture, and I put it in the book. And yeah. And they came to like my deadline was like on a Friday. I told them like on a Wednesday, I said, I'm going to go to press on Friday. I said, if you don't have a picture, I'm not putting a book. They went out, and they got, teenagers, they got waited the last minute. They went out Thursday afternoon after school and went over to East Bay, and they got a couple of big old trout, and I put those pictures. I have to look it up in the book and show y'all, but I got a kick out of it. So they were talking about on the show Saturday. They had a little. This is where we did our photo shoot years ago for the book Full Box and all. But I just thought that was cool. All right, moving along. One thing, get back to hunting now. Muzzleloading season, and you saw the picture earlier. Muzzleloading season. Our gun season ends on February the 17th. Muzzleloader takes off the day after, from 18th through the 23rd, I believe. And the thing about muzzleloading, it is really a great season. It's really a great time to go because there's no one in the woods. It's all quiet. There's no one out there, especially if you're in public land. It's just a really special time. I remember I used to, when I first started off muzzleloading, you could go before the season and after the season, and it was just such a quiet, peaceful time. And a lot of times that's when those big bucks and all sort of sneak out. They think everything's sort of over with. You're in that late season buck pattern, and every year I say I want to get me a new muzzle loader. I see, if you see the beginning of the show each time, I've got that old, like the old flintlock. I still have that original muzzle loader, and over the years they proved that thing a little bit on a dangerous side. I was talking to one of our viewers not too long ago. He had a friend where that hammer went down. There's a little cap, and the cap is what puts the powder, explodes it, and that cap popped off and hit a guy right up underneath the eye, went back into the brain, and actually the guy died from a fatal injury from shooting a muzzle loader. So I've got a little scare about shooting them. It used to be a lot of fun just shooting a muzzle loader and getting out there to target practice. And of course that's when they just had the ball. We had to pack it down. They've made so many advances. It's like shooting a modern rifle now. But I do want to encourage you for muzzle loading too. And like I say, talking about advances, let's get back to fishing. I'll get a kick out of the technology and the inventions and all. And I'm going to show you one here. This is called a hydro wave. This is like I'm going to show you, then I'm going to tell you it's a hydro wave, and there's a price on it, $479. And they've been out a while. I saw them at ICAST several years back. And what that is, that's a machine that sits in the boat, has an underwater, like a transducer. And what it will do, this is fascinating, what it will do will give a sound underneath into the water of a distressed bait fish. Now the bass industry, the bass fishermen started, were the first ones to use it back in about 7 or 8 years ago in tournaments and all, and it just gives and supposedly the fish will turn around, they'll hear it, and fish can't hear, and they'll go back toward that. Well, Mark and Michael Cow were fishing the other day and said they had a big old school of redfish go by, and they turned it on, and the redfish turned around and came back to them. Now, that is amazing if it's doing that. So, now each year they make improvements on it. So sometimes you have a distressed LY or distressed sardine fish or just different kind of bait fish, and they'll make a noise and all, and that sound goes underwater and calls them in. And you stop and think, that's what all the guys, predator hunters, that's what they're using a distressed rabbit sound, and so they're doing it underwater now. So my question, I'd like if any of y'all have been using something like that and have had success or not had success with it, I would like to hear your testimonial. I've looked up some testimonials, and it's mixed. Some people, some bass fishermen swear by it, and some people say it's just a gimmick. So I think it's one of those things as outdoorsmen that we personally have to try out ourselves, I think. But I don't have one. I don't plan on getting one anytime soon, but I know Mark and Michael has one, and they're really sold on it. They were really tickled. I mean, they say it's a game changer. So, and I guess it's going to be legal and used in the tournaments and all. I don't see, I haven't read anything about it and all. But that's just something very, very interesting. I thought I wanted to pass on to you. So another thing too, when you have an invention or something, and don't be afraid to explore it. I was thinking about this when I was looking at this last night. So many, when I go to ICAST, so many people have these great ideas. A lot of them don't go through, but some of them are bought up. But you got to get a patent on it. And if you get a patent on it, Tommy Watts here in town, Watts Sound. Tommy is really good as far as putting patents together. He's with Jet Boat Pilot. He's part owner of that now. But they've got several patents that's year after year. Tommy's come up with all kinds of patents. So make sure when you think of something, and you keep thinking, well, everything's been invented, but then you see something like this or something like that. You go down to the ICAST show, just tablefuls of stuff where people are thinking about outdoor stuff, and there's a huge market. And I'd always encourage my students. I said, be thinking about it. Even my students had some great ideas when they did the projects at the school and all, on just things that they really enjoyed putting together. So, and it could be very beneficial financially, but make sure you get it protected, get a patent on it, even if they get a patent lawyer. But I don't know if you watch Shark Tank, which is one of my favorite shows now, and I enjoy not the camaraderie necessarily of the people. They get along together, but how they will, when they see an idea, it clicks. And every now and then you see some outdoor ideas. But the biggest thing, they don't like the outdoor ideas. I figured this out because it's just a certain segment of our population. They want it really they want a really big segment. Okay, enough about that. I just wanted to, if you've had experience with that hydro, it's called a hydro wave, and it sends out waves of currents. If you've had experience with it, send me an email or shoot me a message or something, and let me know how you liked it and what you plan to do with it. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Take a look at Fishing Game Time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. This morning, 12:16 to 2:16, and right after lunch, 12:39 to 2:39. So let's add some names to our pickle jar. How about Sandra Goodson, Sneeds, Billy Goodson, Sneeds, Diane Chambers, Apalachicola, Johnny Lee Chambers, Apalachicola, Alan McCutcheon, Allison Grazioso from Compass Lake, Mike Grazioso Jr., Compass Lake, Josie Grazioso, Compass Lake, also Julie and Mike. Mike works up there at Mr. Buck's Oyster Bar up there, and we up there and found a great place to eat. And I get to see him up there. Loves the outdoors, and we talk a lot about the outdoors up there and kayak fishermen. So y'all are now in the pickle jar. Let's move to some more pictures. I'm going to use my iPad on this, and let's see if we can get this set up here, get it focused in. I still don't have internet, so I'm sort of double teaming. Look at here, coming up this weekend in a couple of days, a crappie fishing tournament. Now you might want to go over there to weigh in right over here next door at Lake Talquin, and it's sponsored by the Gadsden Chamber of Commerce, and it's really a good deal there. The crappie fishing tournament. Okay. Let's see what we got here next. Remember when air was free and now it's 150? You know what you call that? Inflation. All right. I had a little flashback with, this is Maddie. She's now a senior at Mosley High School, but this is down in Cape San Blas, and we're just enjoying fishing. And that big old smile I sent her to her last night. She said, OMG. She couldn't believe it. Save the date now. Go ahead, save the date, May 25th, the CCA Star Tournament begins, and they'll be giving away all kind of boats and all. I'm gonna go and win one this year. I'm gonna tell you all ahead of time, but it starts in May. And this is all work, no outdoors, makes joy an unhappy boy. I just want to write y'all some poetry this morning. And for you ladies, all work, no outdoors, makes Sadie an unhappy lady. Now, isn't that true? Okay, so I just want to make sure, get the message out to everybody on that and all. Now, what's been funny lately, yesterday or Sunday afternoon, the weather warming up, and we're getting a lot. I started hearing frogs, bullfrogs, and you know how they sound. I said, oh my goodness, here it is February, and they're already sounding out. And what's happening now? We have so much water that's standing. It's standing all over the place. And these frogs are coming from a ditch out in front of my house, which they're normally not in that ditch. But I went out there late in the afternoon, right before dark really, and lo and behold, that ditch has that much water in it. Now, we've had an enormous amount of rain. But more importantly, while we have so much water, these ditches are now clogged up with all kind of debris, where people have thrown all kind of trash and limbs and everything, plus the natural debris. So we're facing a little, I wouldn't say ecological disaster, but we have a situation where we have a lot of water, and you know what that means. We're going to start getting a lot of mosquitoes. I'm predicting mosquitoes this spring and this summer is going to be the worst we've seen in many, many years. So just be aware of that ahead of time. If you need to go in and get you a thermocell, or make sure you start wearing long sleeves and all, we're going to have a lot of mosquitoes. And also, speaking of the rain, have all noticed how much black mud we've had all over the place? It's just, the ground is saturated, and my truck is just, I tell Gail I haven't actually cleaned my truck since October, since the storm hit, because there's been so much mud and everything, so I'm gonna have to wash my truck pretty soon. All right, so with that being in mind, we know we're gonna have a lot of mosquitoes, and we know the sprayer's gonna come. I don't like the sprayers, but it's just a necessary evil. What's the best defense against mosquitoes? The purple martin. And we were coming through Saturday, we were coming through Mexico Beach, and coming up with the old Driftwood Inn. Y'all know where that is, close to the El Governor. They're gonna be able to save the Driftwood Inn. And I look out there and I said, they're putting up martin houses, a purple martin house, they're putting them up. And sure enough, and I've got some pictures of it, okay? They're going to come on. They're saying the Martin's going to come on February 15th. Martin's going to come next week. Start looking for homes. So I have a couple of pictures here. You can see they're out on the beach and they're putting a whole row of them up. And I thought this was just downright cool that they're getting ready to do this. And I would encourage. I'm going to try to do this. I would encourage all of y'all to try to find some old gourds and all. Look at them. Okay, look at them stacked up there. And I don't know if the groups are doing this, but my hat's off to you, especially when you got your dog there watching you like that. And here they're all lined up. The Purple Martin houses on the beach behind the old Driftwood Inn at Mexico Beach. And we all could take heed from that because the mosquitoes are going to be really bad this year, I can promise you. So if you get a situation to build a purple, they make these Martin houses now out of aluminum and all. But remember now, when you put up a Martin house, and I made this mistake, I learned the hard way. When you put it up and have it up here, you want to clear it out underneath it. When a scout comes down looking for a place for the rest of the crew to come in, he's going to, or she's going to look out there. If there's any kind of something where a predator can come up that pole, they're not going there. So make sure when you have that pole sticking in the ground, it's all cleared out underneath there. That's just a little tip you'll learn on Panhandle Outdoors. And you know, they were putting that one on the beach, so of course that's clear and all. But I put up some before. I wondered where they were, and I had a bird person, my sister-in-law, told me they're not going to. I learned it from her because she's a bird expert, and so that's something I want to pass on to you. Okay, we're going to start wrapping things up. I've enjoyed doing the show today. The rest of this week now, I have tomorrow. Now we're going to have Travis coming on, and we're going to talk about some FWC news and, of course, our case of the month and all. And Travis is always a lot of fun to have on. And if you have any questions, anything, try to get with us, and we'll try to get them answered. We'll answer the question on what kind of fishing license you need on Phillips Inlet, and also talk about the seasons, all kinds of things coming up. So if you have any pictures or great stories to send in, I get a lot of emails and all, send them in, and I'll try to answer them personally. If not, maybe I can read them on air and get the word out like that, okay? We're going to wrap it up. Y'all have a good day at work or a good day at school, whatever you do, and enjoy the people you work with and your classmates and all, and be positive in everything you do. You have a great day. Enjoy the great outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.